affair that he keeps hearing about. So Johnny takes a cassette recorder and he hooks it up to a phone line, all James Bond style. So after Tommy is done setting up his tape recorders so that he can get audio evidence of something he has personally heard of, he goes over to his friend Peter's house to have a drink of water and talk about love. Tommy tells Peter all about his troubles, and Peter gives some weirdly sage advice, telling him that sometimes people change. Life is complicated. It's uncharacteristically rational. It's uncharacteristically rational for this movie, and Tommy is having no part of it. Mark shows up to the door just in time to join the conversation, and he starts telling the group that he has this girl now, right? Because minutes ago, no girl. No discussion of a girl. All alone. Single Mark. Now, he's telling everybody, oh, he's got a girl, but she's married. And this is all super sketchy. Peter seems legitimately skeptical of the situation. Not good old Johnny, though. Johnny trusts Mark. Johnny asks if he can meet her, and Mark says it's kind of an awkward situation. And Johnny, without skipping a beat, he just responds by asking why. Is she too old? Or is he afraid he's going to steal her? I love the first thing he asks is if she's too old, you know. That's probably the thing. She's probably just like a 75-year-old lady. And Mark doesn't want Johnny to know he's begging this G-MILF. So Mark steers the topic elsewhere, asking Tommy if he's going to run Beta Breakers, which is the annual San Francisco 12-kilometer foot race. Peter says he's not feeling up to it, and Johnny calls him a chicken, and they just go, cheep, 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 cheep. I don't know if that's a regional thing or not. I'm in the Pacific Northwest, and over here, we go bok, 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 bok. Let me know if it is a regional thing, if there's different variations of it. I feel like the cheep, 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 cheep might be like a European thing. And again, I don't actually know on this, and I'm not sure how I would feel if someone just started cheeping at me. It's again one of those situations where you probably just stand there unsure of how to react to this weird figure just standing in front of you and acting in this alien, bizarre manner. Oh, Johnny. So we get a little back and forth boy talk about, you know, guy stuff, girls with boobs, barbecue chicken, that kind of stuff. But then we get Johnny, who's definitely not a surrogate for Tommy, laying down some real truth. Johnny sort of breaks the fourth wall as he starts to tell the story of how he wound up in San Francisco, talking about how he wound up working as a busboy because he couldn't cash the check he'd come to America with because it was from a foreign bank. And he starts reminiscing about how he was working as a busboy when it was that he met this amazing girl who was just so beautiful. And, you know, they finally ask him, well, what's so funny about this story? And he's like, oh, well, she paid for dinner, you know, which kind of just cinches up the story, and we kind of just cut it off there. And I think it's because it probably becomes a little too real for him. That's all fine because Lisa shows up with Denny to seriously crash this party. Denny, by the way, gets another respectable 51 seconds of screen time as Peter and Mark both audios at the sight of Lisa. And Denny once again asks Lisa to say hi to Johnny for him. And guess what Lisa never f***ing does? Nope. Never bothers to say hi to Johnny. Never takes that small courtesy. You know, it takes 2 seconds. It's just, Denny says hi, by the way. Like, the affair is one thing, but common courtesy is another, and this is just unforgivable. Meanwhile, Mark and Peter must exit the apartment, go around the building, and get back in somehow, because moments later, Mark is on the rooftop, smoking weed. He tries to offer some to Peter, but Peter is not really interested. Peter notes that Mark seems out of sorts and depressed, and Mark tells Peter that he's feeling sick with himself. And Peter still tries to be the voice of reason, trying to get him to put the weed down, admit to his affair with Lisa. This is apparently the wrong approach, because Mark just grabs a hold of Peter, runs him to the edge of the building, and nearly throws him off the rooftop in response. Peter manages to get away, and despite being nearly killed, he continues to try and be the voice of reason in the season. But Mark just responds with a whatever, and they both exit the rooftop together. Problem solved. Again, you know, off to the island of abandoned storylines. We then switch back to the apartment with everyone just getting ready for the wedding. Okay, it's actually apparently it's just like a practice ceremony or something. There's this like huge tonal shift when we hit this scene because we have all this happy music and everyone are in tuxes getting ready. Even our main man Denny is there, and he's around for the entire scene this time, scoring himself another solid 50 seconds of screen time. Denny has the football with him, which is good because of course no practice ceremony would be complete without a pre-ceremony game of catch. They all go out to play some catch in the back alley, like we all do. And I kind of feel like the football is one of our main characters at this point. It's just a really common reoccurring character that's important for developing the plot. So we're back in the back alley. throwing the football around on the concrete. Again, not safe. Peter falls flat on his face, sustains a concussion in real life, and Denny makes it in the scene for all of 27 seconds this time. And then we just switch back to shots of Johnny walking around San Francisco before we switch to him and Mark getting coffee. Johnny and Mark have normal coffee chat. Mark says girls are crazy. Johnny says he's got a new client at the bank. Mark inquires who. Johnny's like, that's confidential. And so Johnny's just like, so how's your sex life? You can't talk about confidential clients at the bank. Let's talk about appropriate conversation topics for this public coffee house. Let's just talk about our sex life and some stuff that's just okay for us to be talking about out here in public, apparently. So Mark is still mute on the subject. No big surprise there. They make plans to go jogging together before giving each other a nice little reassuring fist bump. And then we have another long transition scene where we have a whole bunch of more unused footage of the Golden Gate Bridge, and all with the Zelda E-Plant Butte music playing in the background at max volume. We then transition back to Johnny and Mark, who have met up for jogging for some really sweet setup and payoff. Good on Johnny for that. That's some quality plot there. The football makes another appearance as they play catch as they jog, and they play catch in a field, and then do a little silly roughhouse and tackle action, and end scene.
What? Is that the end of the episode? Oh wait, no, it's just the end of part 1. Follow us to part 2 to find out if Johnny and the football find love together. Next time on Bad Movies Among Us.